Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Screenstars and welcome to another PlayStation review. Today, I'm taking a look at 2-Point Museum for the PlayStation 5. Now, this is the third in the franchise that we've had in the last few years. We had 2-Point Hospital and we had 2-Point Campus. Two games that I thoroughly enjoyed and covered pretty extensively on the channel. As you know, if you follow my content, you know I'm a big fan of like management sims, chill out games, and this ticks a lot of boxes for me. It's like the perfect game if that's your kind of thing. So what can you expect if you are going to buy 2-Point Museum? Well, there's two versions to pick up. There's a cheaper version, which is just like the base game, or you could pay $34.99 to pick up like the version of the game with like the season pass, I suppose, where you get like extra museums. That's the one I've got because I know I'm going to be playing all of the content in this game and putting many hours into it, so I know I'm going to get my time back from the game. If you're new to games like this and you've never tried a 2-Point game before, then just go with the base one for now and then see what you think. Maybe pick up the extra pack when it kind of drops a bit cheaper. So, 2-Point Museum then. Well, essentially you're put in charge of initially just one museum. And it's a museum, quite a traditional museum, I suppose. It's a prehistory museum. So that means that, you will be exhibiting, dinosaur bones, huge footprints, fossils, so on and so forth. However, with its usual 2-Point comedic edge to it. That's something that these guys do brilliantly in their games. They give us like really fun, humorous things to look at. There's always something going on in the games. Unique characters. There's like a radio DJ that's playing over the background that pops up with humorous anecdotes here and there. They always get the humor bang on in these games, and they've done it again here. This isn't a game that you're supposed to be taking seriously. There's a lot of fun elements to it. Now, one thing that this game does differently than the others, and I think it's a really brilliant addition, is you can send your experts, as they call them, out on expeditions. There is like a helipad in your museum or outside your museum with a helicopter, and you can then choose to go in that helicopter and go on an expedition. And the expedition, there are quite a few different locations to visit. And they are all themed around that museum. So, for example, if you're doing the prehistory museum with the dinosaur bones and stuff, the expeditions will bring back like-for-like exhibits. They don't always bring back complete exhibits. You have to keep going back to find the rest of the pieces, if you like. And there's certain prerequisites you've got to hit in order to A, go on that expedition, and B, unlock certain expeditions. So certain expeditions might just ask for one of your experts in the museum to go. And then you've got to kind of choose a bonus. Do you want extra health? Do you want a first aid kit to prevent injury? And it's really up to you what you want to kind of do really there, because there is a mechanic in there that, if things don't necessarily go according to plan, they might come back injured and they're going to have to take a bit of time to heal up. There are certain events that happen as well when they're on an expedition sometimes, and it'll give you like multiple choice scenarios. Something's gone wrong with the expedition and you've got to make a choice, and that will determine if the expedition continues to be successful. So it's a mechanic very similar to the Jurassic Evolution games. In a sense of that you could do expeditions on that to go and find new dinosaurs. It's exactly the same here. You're just looking for exhibits for your museum. So you've got loads of different, rooms to set up in the museum. Obviously, you've got your exhibits to bring back, and you'll put your exhibits in the museum, and they will generate buzz. If you decorate appropriately around them, that'll generate, if you like, more buzz, because it'll attract people to that exhibit. You can put like donation stands up scattered around the museum. If people are suitably impressed, they will also donate as well as paying an entrance ticket. So you've got to set up like booths. You've got to hire assistants, experts, janitors, security guards, the usual kind of batch of staff that you're going to want to put into your museums. So, like I said, there's loads of different rooms. You're going to need a staff room. You're going to need a bathroom. You gift shops. Different rooms depending on the museum, which I'll talk a little bit more about later. So you're setting up all these rooms. You're decorating them, putting the right furniture in them. You could, there's workshops as well. That certain people can work in those different rooms. So some of the other museums that you're going to unlock along the way, and once you get 1 star in the first museum, the prehistory museum, it then unlocks a couple of options. You've got like there's a supernatural museum, which is probably my personal favorite. I quite enjoyed that one. You can actually capture ghosts and exhibit them in your museum, which is pretty cool, or cursed objects, and you can rename the exhibits as well. So I brought back a cursed doll, for example, and I renamed it Annabelle. So yeah, it's fun as well in that sense. There's like an aquarium museum, and they all speak for themselves in regards to the kind of things you're going to exhibit in there. Just let your imagination run wild. If you know that, like I say, the humour that is exhibited in these 2 Point games, then imagine an aquarium museum with the 2 Point humour mixed into it, and you'll get a pretty good idea of what you're going to be kind of dealing with in that museum. There's also a science museum. Again, it kind of speaks for itself. And then there's a space museum. That's probably my second favourite. That's a really cool one. Like I say, so you've got certain things you need to do to unlock these museums. Most of the time it's to get 1 or 2 stars in your museums, which sounds easy enough, but there's quite a few things you've got to hit to be able to get that 1 or 2 stars in the museums. There's certain actions you've got to complete, and some of them take a little bit of time. You've got to make a certain amount of money, you've got to hit certain things, you've got to unlock certain maps on the expeditions, because it will ask for you to do certain things, so you've got to kind of pin it to your menu on the screen. It'll tell you what you need to do to unlock certain aspects of the map for you to explore. So there's loads here. I mean, the career mode is where I've been spending most of my time, but there is a sandbox mode as well. If you just want to really get in there, get creating with very little in the way of limitations, then so be it. Sandbox mode is going to be for you. But I like the career mode because it's really good because it gives you guidance. It tells you what you need to be doing to progress. You've got like a tick box thing. Gotta love a tick box thing, me. I love that sort of thing in these sort of games, and it really does help you kind of focus on the task in hand. You could speed up the gameplay, you can slow it down, you can micromanage everything, you can save certain exhibits to your inventory if you've already got that exhibit, and you can even sell it for a profit if you want, to make sure that you keep making money. You could decorate every aspect of your museum, every room, and in certain scenarios it's very, very specific how you decorate it. For example, in the supernatural one, some of the ghosts are very specific how they like their room decorated depending on what era the ghost comes from. So you've got to kind of pander to their needs, because if you don't, they're going to break out and they're going to scare the living crap out of your customers in the museum. So I think this is probably my favourite 2 Point game. I'm really going to give it a solid 9 out of 10. I just think they've absolutely nailed it. They've added some new mechanics in. They've maintained the humour. It's very addictive, lots of fun to play, and I strongly recommend this one, guys. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the review.